Hi, Rachel Mead here, President and founder of Enhanced Prep. Thanks for joining me today while we take a look at this ACT English question. Now, the first thing, if you've joined me for other ACT English questions, we remember if it's a grammatically acceptable question, that's going to be a faster question for us to work through. So, always questions that should get our full attention. The other thing that I'm hoping you remember is when it's asking about our grammar, we only have to read period to period where our underline is. So anything coming outside of this sentence itself is just designed to waste my time, to distract me, to bore me, to trap me into a different answer choice, but I'm going to incorporate everything only within this one sentence. So let's take a look at what's happening here. We can see that we've got our topic or our subject of this sentence coming through right away. Upbeat country music. Then it tells me it has blues and jazz influences. I hit my underline. Monroe intended to incorporate acoustic stringed instruments such as, well, this such as blah, 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 right? This is all just extra detail, right? All it's doing is providing us additional information about what is happening in this sentence, but it's just there again to continue to waste my time. Now, the big thing we need to remember, and these are common questions for students to miss because our brains just aren't necessarily trained to think this way with what we do in ELA class at school. But we need to make sure that we're comparing our nouns appropriately. Is the subject that we start off with continuing for us in the same way of comparison afterwards? And hopefully you remember when we see that comma, we know we're switching our ideas, but they still need to align. So if my first portion of this sentence is about upbeat country music, and then I go into my comma because it's not a complete idea yet. Upbeat country music with blues and jazz influences is definitely incomplete. And again, we know more. Catch those other ACT English videos to know why this is so important. But I need to continue to express what's happening with my upbeat country music because I haven't given you a complete understanding of this yet, which means whatever is coming next needs to be more about my upbeat country music. In particular, recognize upbeat and country just describe our music. So which one of these things is music? Is Monroe music? No. Monroe might play music, but Monroe is not music. The bands, are the bands music? No. Once again, the bands can play music, but they're not music. Ooh, bluegrass. Maybe we're recognizing that's a type of music. If not, we can quickly see that that is referenced elsewhere, but we should hopefully recognize that that is a type of music. And then we're down to Monroe again. Well, look at this. Even if I didn't recognize that bluegrass was a type of music, I know Monroe and the bands are not. So in order to correctly have my noun comparison, music to music, I have to bring in another type of music or clarification on something that is music, not that plays music, guys. Be careful. Don't let those test writers steal a point back from you. See you soon.